What if I was to tell you there's a way to get A+ in every single essay you're ever going to write, whether or not it's in school, it's in undergraduate, it's in PhD or postgrad education? This is an overlooked way that not many people are using. It's so easy, it's almost too easy. So let's check it out. The first thing we need to understand about essays is that they are often guided using something called a rubric. A rubric is just essentially an expectation of what different types of elements should be in your essay. Typically, it's about introductions, it's about conclusions, it's about main points, organizations, whether or not you've cited works, and also whether or not your sentence structure, punctuation, all that is tidy and clean. These are your guiding stars for your essay. The problem is we often write essays and forget that this rubric exists. We should go back to this rubric over and over again during our sort of like refinement process of our essay, so that we're making sure we're hitting all of the most important key points. And importantly, now with the advent of AI and large language models, it is easier than ever to get the top grade in any essay you write by passing it through ChatGPT or whatever really large language model you are using. So the first step is making sure that you can get this rubric into ChatGPT. Quite often, rubrics are actually sort of like this sort of style where they have different columns, and to be honest with you, this is not useful for ChatGPT or any other sort of like large language model interface you are typically going to be using. So we need to get this format into a list. There are two ways you can do it. The first way is to use advanced data analysis, which is the paid version of ChatGPT, and it allows you to upload a PDF. And all I've said here is reformat this table for pasting into ChatGPT. You can see that it's taken the provided PDF file and it's also then sort of like just extracted it into list format. The problem is it does actually sort of like truncate the sentences that are in the rubric. So it turns something that's really sort of like long and well thought out into something that's much, much shorter. Not ideal. So actually the best way to do this, forget AI, is to do it manually. I actually took this rubric and I decided that I would just copy and paste it manually into a notepad. So you can see here, all I've done is turned it into a list format. I've got introduction A, I've got background and history, I've got 3 points, 2 points, 1 point, and all of that sort of in a list format. And down here I've got the grade equivalent. So it's a really simple copy and paste process, but once you've done it once, it is done for the rest of your essay. So it's well worth making sure that all of the valuable information in this rubric is actually inserted into the list. Don't allow any truncation, don't allow it to paraphrase it, because it is the detail in this rubric that really holds the power. All right then, so once you've actually turned your rubric into something like this, all you have to do then is paste it into ChatGPT. Here's what I've done. So I've said at the top here, read this rubric and say read when done. It's super easy. I then posted it in and then you say read. Now, there's loads of ways to get this sort of like information read. You don't have to sort of like split it up into different commands, but I recommend splitting it up into like read this rubric first and then paste in the essay afterwards, because then it's just much easier to work with. It's a stepwise process. Give it a go. Trust me, it's way easier. So once it's actually sort of like in there, you can say read and then mark this essay using the rubric. So I've actually posted an essay that I found online. I just copied and pasted it straight in, and you can see here that it's evaluating the essay using the provided rubric. Here it's introduction, it's given it 3 points, conclusion 3 points, main points 2 points. So it's actually not given the full marks in the main point, which is interesting. Here it says the essay clearly presents more than 3 main points with detailed supporting evidence, although it does say the opposing view is also acknowledged, though the essay should have provided more comprehensive refutation of the main point. So that's a really important point, to make sure that you actually are hitting all of the major key factors of the rubric. Here, highlighted it perfectly. That is something that is quite often overlooked if you're not sort of like always sort of like using the rubric to check your work. Going on, organization 3 points, works cited 3 points, and overall it's given this essay an A. We can go a little bit further and we can say stuff like, give us sentence starters that will allow me to refute the evidence that I've already talked about. You can also say, give me example sentences which will allow me to refute the sentence. Let's give it a go. So once ChatGPT has spilled out all of its example sentences, we can choose the ones that we want to include in our essay. For example, here we can address the incomplete evidence. We can question the research methodology. There are 7 ways that we could actually bolster up our essay and provide that contradicting evidence. Beautiful, really easy, takes the thought process away from those sort of like really laborious moments of editing your work, which is how do I improve it? Large language models are your friend in this instance. I did this again with a really bad essay example. So here I've done this as usual. Read this rubric and say read when done. I posted in the rubric and then I said mark this essay using the rubric. And you can see there it's really not substantial. There's really not much going on. And you can see that it does actually sort of like give us some hints about where we can improve. So here the conclusion recaps the main ideas but does tend to repeat some of the concerns brought up in the body. It says the essay does not reference any sources or provide a works cited page. 0 points. Therefore, we can use a tool like Jenny AI, we can use a tool like Cite or any other AI tool to find references to put into our work that sort of like bolster our understanding of a topic and provide sort of like really reputable opinions and sources on a particular viewpoint. A really useful tool. ChatGPT is perfectly designed and aligned with making sure your essays can be improved. You can then go in and say, okay, how about you help me improve the introduction? How can I make the introduction better? It will give you a list. You can then go in and use ChatGPT to say, hey, make my introduction better, make my conclusion better, and you keep on going through this process, iterating through these questions and these improvements until ChatGPT says, you know what, this is an A+ assignment. There we have it. That's how you can use ChatGPT to make sure that you get the top grade A+ in every essay you ever produce. Let me know in the comments what you think. And also, if you've loved this video, go check out this one where I talk about studying like it's the year 3000. There are loads of really awesome AI tools that allow you to study like it's the year 3000 because it is AI-driven study. Incredible stuff, all for free. Remember, there are more ways that you can engage with me. The first way is to sign up to my newsletter. Head over to andrewstapleton.com.au/newsletter. The link is in the description, and when you sign up, you'll get 5 emails over about 2 weeks. Everything from the tools I've used, the podcasts I've been on, how to write the perfect abstract, and more. It's exclusive content available for free, so go sign up now. And also remember to check out academiainsider.com. That's my project where I've got my ebook, I've got my resource pack, I've got a blog, I've got a forum, and everything is over there to make sure that academia works for you. All right then, I'll see you in the next video.